I've met somebody who just happens to be unavailable for a relationship at this time. I was getting to that point where I was going to be like, all right, well, she has this, this, and this, but she doesn't have this, this, and this. But what outweighs the other, you know?
Sure.
And then I met her and was like, nope, nope. Even if I can't have her, I know that I don't have to settle. If you were going looking for dragons and you were searching, and you couldn't find a dragon, and eventually you're like, maybe dragons don't exist. Maybe I should just get a horse and put a cone on its head and call it a day, or get a fire machine. Then you stumble across this cave and you see a dragon, but it flies off. So
Sure.
like you still don't have the dragon, but you're like, it's there. They do exist, and I can go find one.
Why are we choosing a dragon over a unicorn?
I don't know. It's the way my brain works.
That is so random.
This is Relatable, Relationships Unfiltered.
Hey, welcome to Relatable, Relationships Unfiltered. Today I'm hanging out with Rob Evors, host of the It's Complicated podcast. We chat all about hookup culture, including Rob's surprising take on it. Rob, thank you for hanging out today. You and I met on your podcast and we had a lot of fun. And so I'm grateful for you to join me.
Listen, Liz, I'm not kidding when I say this, and the way I promoted it too for our podcast, like I learned more in that podcast than the year and a half I've been with the show, my show. Because like we were saying, we've had a lot of coaches and whatnot on there, and therapists and psychics and all that other stuff, but everybody's coming from like their own experience and then being like, I did this, you should do this.
Right.
And that doesn't work for everybody. And then you took like today's culture and brought down these phrases. It's like, I just saw this TikTok where it's like, like somebody my age, I'm old, right? So it's somebody my age. He's teaching a bunch of kids that are like Gen Z.
Sure.
Right. And he's going through the lessons. He's like, what does this mean? What does this mean? What is, a baddie? And what's, yacht, and like that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. What are these words? That's like what our podcast was. Huh?
What is a baddie in your own words, Rob?
A baddie is a independent man or woman who is curvy, but also has a lot of sex appeal.
Why do we have to say is curvy and also has a lot of sex appeal? I don't mean
and also. Curvy with sex appeal.
I'm like, excuse me.
I'm just trying to remember the words I saw on the projecting screen.
She's curvy or they're curvy, but that's okay. They're still sexy.
It's funny that I'm getting called out for that because I wondered why he put that on the definition also. Like, why does that have to be an adjective?
Good save on that.
I'm serious. I was like, well, that's not right. And now I'm the fucking asshole. So.
Now you're the one who repeated it. So now you're going down with it. So
yeah,
we're going to talk about, speaking of culture, we're going to talk about hookup culture today, which when you and I connected on your pod, we were the only single ones and took pride in our singleness, single whatever. So we're going to talk about it from that angle, because I think it's actually going to be pretty interesting that as single as you and I both identify as, and very, very openly, and that it is our choice, I think that we handle that singleness very differently. So
we started on the podcast. I don't know if it was your show, but we started using the word single, taking that out of our vocabulary and starting using the word solo. Because single has like a negative connotation, like you're not coupled up, right? You're not a pair, right?
So it must have happened after, because I remember I said I'm single by choice, and you were like, I like that. Me too.
Yes. Yeah. and that's the thing, is that like so many people go rushing to find this other person because they feel like they're less than, especially when they get like later in age.
Sure.
And I still want to find somebody, but I'm not desperate to find somebody. And
how would you know if you found somebody? Like, how would that person be set apart?
It's funny you ask that, because I've met somebody who just happens to be unavailable for a relationship at this time. Okay. But her characteristics, and the way she, I'm attracted to her, is something that I'm like, oh, you do exist. Mm-hmm. It's almost like I met somebody where I was like kind of giving up. I was getting to that point where I was going to be like, all right, well, she has this, this, and this, but she doesn't have this, this, and this. But what outweighs the other,
Sure.
And then I met her and was like, nope, nope. Even if I can't have her, I know that I don't have to settle.
But she's not available.
She's not available.
So then that kind of still keeps you in the same boat.
No, I'm still single, but at least I know now that that somebody like her does exist. Do you know what I mean?
No, I know exactly what you mean. I just mean the same boat of there's still like compromise or sacrifice or like, so this thing does exist, but I still don't have this thing.
Right. Yeah.
Not to like rain on your parade. Shit, that sounds really like
No,
doom and gloom.
I don't see it like that at all. I really don't. I see it more of in the positive light of if you were going looking for dragons and you were searching and you couldn't find a dragon, and eventually you're like, you know what, I've been fucking doing this for like 47 years. Maybe dragons don't exist. Maybe I should just get a horse and put a cone on its head and call it a day, or get a fire machine. Then you stumble across this cave and you see a dragon, but it flies off. So
Sure.
Like you still don't have the dragon, but you're like, it's there. They do exist, and I can go find one.
Why are we choosing a dragon over a unicorn?
I don't know. It's the way my brain works.
That is so random.
I kind of thought like I also like did a unicorn with the thing.
Right. And I'm like, wait, are we talking about unicorns or dragons? Fire breathing unicorns? Is that a thing now?
It's Thursday and I haven't had a drink yet, so I'm
Okay,
sorry.
well,
All
shit.
my analogies
You should have
are
poured
over.
one.
I know.
Okay, so from a hookup culture perspective, though, and how long have you been single?
Jeez. So I broke up with my ex. I want to quote girlfriend. I want to use that air quotes because it was only 4 months and we had a huge age difference. So we kind of knew it wasn't going to like last.
Sure.
But that was like literally we were fighting right before COVID started. And when we found out we were going to have to be like quarantined in other places, we were like, yeah, maybe we call it quits now. Now seems like a good time.
Got it.
So literally the day before, so I can trace it back to like the day COVID started. So like March, what is it? April 1st, March 22nd, something like that.
Okay. So that, I mean, solid then 3-ish years.
Yeah.
Okay. And what does hookup culture look like to you? Like, so what does it look like for you to be single? Like, are you so single as in not committed, but do you have multiple situationships? Do you have multiple one night stands? Like, what does your life look like, Rob, as a single man?
So part of the reason I just moved to Austin, Texas from LA.
Okay.
And part of the reason I left was because LA is kind of more of a hookup culture. It's like it's okay to be doing that all the time. Nobody's really looking for their knight in shining armor or their Cinderella. Nobody's looking for that yet. They kind of get to a point where they're like, oh shit, wait, how much time do I have left? Oh, I got to find somebody,
Right.
The thing that's interesting about our podcast that I tell people is that Lauren's married with 2 kids. Jen was on all the dating apps trying to find somebody. And she was like really trying to find somebody, which is why we kind of questioned the new relationship, what we did in the beginning. Because it was like, did you find the right person or did you just find a person?
Sure.
It's
a valid question.
Yeah, I think so. And then I'm not on any dating apps at all.
Okay.
So like I'm a little different than most single men out there because I'm trying, but I'm a hopeless romantic. So like I'm not going out after it all the time. I guess it's like I've done the one night stands a lot and I never felt good after it. But I would do it. I've had the relationships that I've thought I was in love. I still don't know if I know what love is. I still don't know if I've ever been loved as much as I've loved.
Okay. And so is that based on the people you continue to pursue?
It's based on just the past relationships and how they ended,
Do you have a type though? Do you like, what's the type?
Type is girl next door. I mean, it sounds so, everybody says this. but it's not like I'm not going after Instagram models, and I'm not. It's like if you're, I don't know. It's definitely like brown hair, brown eyes, or blue eyes, big. The same kind of thing. But like girl next door, hot, you can call it. But like, I don't know. I always know when I get a feeling.
Sure.
And I get the feeling that I want to see you again and again and again. And you could be the hottest girl I've ever seen, but if I don't want to see you again, then I don't want to pursue it.
Right. Right. So, well,
yeah. What's your hookup girl culture now? And I don't even.
Oh, go ahead.
I don't know where you are either. We never discussed like early 30s. Where are you at? What was your past? Like I know you were into something for a while, but like, how long have you been out?
Are you asking for a relational history? Are we going to do a little bit of analysis here?
Yeah.
So
also,
I was
like, how close are you to freaking out?
Freaking out about what?
Like I don't know, about if you need to find somebody, you need to be with somebody, or like.
Okay. So I did things very, I had my son at 22. So I got married at 18.
Oh, wow.
And then I had my son at 22. So I have a 16-year-old son. So like, I'm not, a lot of my clients, a lot of my friends are in their mid to late 30s. And there is a little bit of that freak out, so to speak, in terms of my clock is ticking, but I don't want to settle. But I do want kids, but there's a lot of that goes on. That's not my experience because I have a teenage son and I do not want more kids. And so
you don't want more kids?
No, not even sort of.
You got all the lingo down then for the Gen Z. You don't need a TikTok. You just go straight to your son.
Yes. Well, and he makes fun of me quite a bit for that, but yes. So he makes fun of me if you say the words. You're not allowed to say it. He'll explain them to you, but don't use it in a sentence because that would just be cringy to everyone. Yeah, so I'm very aware. So because of that, though, like I don't have an urgency, but the difference I think is that I do have a desire for connection. So that's a newer thing. I've been divorced for about 3.5 years. And so the first couple of years was my ex is still my best friend. So there was a lot of that emotional connection that still existed. We weren't hooking up or things like that. It was just emotional connection. A lot of those emotional needs were being met. So now I'm more getting to the place where I would like connection, and I guess this conversation is going different than I had anticipated because, no offense. I don't know if there's any other way to say this though. So probably offense will be taken. I assumed you were actively one night standing it based on our previous conversations.
What about our previous conversations made you think I was free-nillying around Austin, Texas?
Well, so let me tell you, when we were talking about breadcrumbing, you had mentioned that you have done that before. Like, so if you are drunk or something like that, you might reach out to somebody for that attention. And so then my mind kind of went to a little bit of fuckboy, like.
Oh, okay.
No offense.
No, this is good to know because you don't know, right? So like, that's what I'm saying with that podcast that we did with you is like, oh shit. I don't see myself as a fuckboy, but other people fucking might now, because now I'm realizing that I've done stuff that I didn't know was fuck boy quality, So
right.
So what I meant by that was I don't go out looking for it, but if somebody I know is interested in me or they tell me they're interested in me and I'm not interested, if they get me at the right time when I'm drunk, and everybody likes to be told that they're wanted.
Sure,
right?
For sure.
Then I might fall victim to that person giving me.
I might slip and fall.
Well, if somebody's like, look, I really, really like you. And they say that enough times. And then you're like, I'm not interested. And then you have 3 tequila shots and 8 beers and it's 8:00 at night. Sure. And they're like, I want to make out with you. Then it's like, okay, but I like you. And it's like, yeah, I like you too. It's like, I've always liked you, but then you don't say the other part, not like that,
Right.
So that's where I focus. I'm not like getting in my car and throwing breadcrumbs out the window and back to my house.
So it sounds like intimacy then is important to you, that's the other side of my story is that so I wish, honestly, I wish I could just have casual sex. I wish I could just be like, take all these other elements out of it and just make it that simple. And a lot of my clients, a lot of my friends, like a lot of people, but even a lot of females, they can do that. It's just having sex for the sake of sex and it's still enjoyable to them. If there's not an emotional connection, I don't it doesn't do anything for me. So I don't want any part of it. And so that's probably where my singleness struggles, because I'm like, I can't just get that need met anywhere, because it even if I'm doing it, it doesn't get the need met.
So when was the last time you had sex?
Oh, that is very straightforward of you. Probably about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
But it's somebody I have an emotional connection with. So
you do have an emotional connection to them.
Yes.
Okay.
So
see, I went like 2 years almost
without having sex?
Yeah, I mean, COVID was a big part of it, right?
Holy cow.
What do you mean how? I just didn't.
No, I said holy cow, but I guess how could have been holy cow and
I was
how.
like, all right, so when a man and a woman get together, this is what happens.
That's a long time.
It was. But like I said, like you've had life experiences, right? And you obviously are a confident person. So like you don't need that validation from somebody.
Sure.
I feel I'm a pretty insecure person, but like I've already done that to validate myself.
Right.
A lot. So like now at this stage in my life, I know that's not going to do anything for me.
Okay.
You know? So
Yeah.
the person I did wind up having sex with she was in an open relationship.
Did you like her?
We were very friendly, but I didn't have an emotional connection to her. But I didn't let myself go there as in like I could date her because she had like a blockage, like she had a boyfriend.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
And you wouldn't be in an open relationship dynamic.
No. And I wouldn't want that for me either.
Sure.
But it was on them. She came to me about it. And I was like, all right, well, if you guys have talked about this and you're okay, and I'm not going to get my door kicked in at any time, then sure. You know?
Right.
And that went on until she moved and they moved away, which was great.
So it lasted for a while.
It lasted for like 4 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
I didn't realize.
Are you in another dry spell, or what's your current situation?
Another dry spell, which I'm fine with.
Okay.
There's some friends that I have that are girlfriends that I kind of want to be like, do you want to just friends with benefits it? You know, because that's safe.
Perfect segue. I want to talk about that.
Okay.
No, go for it.
Well, there's some people that I want to ask that with, but I know that either they've kind of made it clear the attraction's not there, you know, this way, or they're like really, really looking for the next one, which I am too, but they're like, I'm not having sex until it's with my future husband. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of a religious thing too.
So you're open to friends with benefits. So then let me ask you, if connection or having sex is important, like the emotional connection is important to you. Yes. And then you have this friend with benefits.
Yeah.
Is that likely to get blurred for you?
I don't know. I guess with the open relationship person, it did start to get a little blurred. Right. Because we were spending a lot of time together also. So there was like this friendship that was also, you know, there wasn't all the other bullshit involved. So it was easy to just be together. You know, it wasn't like, does she like me? Does she think I like her? Like, do I have to take her out? Do I have to call her this amount of times? Do we have to, you know, play this game? We didn't have to do that. We were just like, we get it. We're in, you know?
What was that like for you though, emotionally?
It was good, but it ended before it got messy, it ended at the right time. Okay. We were both kind of like, I think we're both it's starting to get a little weird. So we should stop, and you're moving soon anyway. And I'm leaving the country. So we should stop. But yeah, I don't know.
So before it could like escalate into knowing because I think that's where it gets complicated. I want to say that so I'm in we'll call it a situationship. If you haven't been on TikTok lately, which sounds like you have, you probably know the term of that. And so we have said multiple times that, okay, we can make this a friends with benefits thing, but I know I can't. Well, clearly I can. I know I choose not to have sex with somebody unless I have an emotional connection. And if I have an emotional connection, then are you really a friend with benefits, or are you more than that and we're just not labeling it? Which we don't have to label it, but what is the face?
Is your 2 weeks ago a friends with benefits?
Well, it's the same guy.
Were you friends with him first?
Yes.
Are you friends with him now?
Yes.
Did you put any kind of other relationship stamp on it?
No.
So you're friends with benefits.
Yes, but it's not so like
Well, it doesn't have to be, but see, you're putting a label on it because then it's like friends with benefits is a label, right?
I guess that's true.
Yeah, because now you're getting squirmy because all of a sudden we said friends with benefits. Yeah.
Okay, so if you are friends with benefits with are you a jealous person?
Yes.
Okay, so then does that influence being your ability to be friends with benefits?
No, because I think if I decide that when I'm friends with benefits seeing, I'm looking other places for my person. So there's no like, wait, you're mine. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know you, like, especially with this throuple thing, I knew she belonged to somebody else. Like,
Belonged to.
I knew you were going to call me out for that word.
You're going to hear about that one. We'll make sure that's in the reel.
But you know what I mean? She was with somebody else.
Right.
So I didn't have to worry about that, you know?
Got it.
And friends, but yeah, so friends with benefits, I think would be, but that's just for the sex too, right? Because I don't want to I don't want to have a random person at my house and then have a one night stand and have to go see them out. And then, you know, we're all friends with each other and I have to hang out with that person again. You know, I'm tired of that game.
So part of the, I guess, benefit of friends with benefits would be that there is just like an understanding. So it's just the same person it's happening with. So then in a way, then that is a little bit of a commitment.
I like you like me. We like spending time together as friends. You're attractive. You think I'm attractive, which I must have gotten you drunk, but we have this mutual understanding that we have needs that need to be met that we don't want to go out into the world and risk a whole bunch of things.
Sure.
You know, pregnancy, disease, all this other stuff.
Right.
And that we can hang out and be fun. And we have this understanding that, you know, we're friends. So if one of us comes to the other and says, I'm starting to get feelings, then that's a whole nother conversation you can have.
And I guess I just don't know how you don't. And what is your experience with that? What's your experience with the gender differences in that?
Yeah. So touche, because my experience with it is usually that I'm good at cutting. I'm a Gemini, right? So I'm good at like cutting things where the emotion where I need to. Mm-hmm. But the times that I've been hooking up with friends and that's kind of gone on a long time, the feelings have definitely come the other way. And then it's got sticky. Yeah, no pun intended.
How do you identify attachment style wise?
Once I like you, I'm in.
Okay, but like from attachment styles of like, so sorry, so there's anxious attachment, avoidant. Have you guys done this on your show at all?
No, you need to come back.
I need to come back. You guys need to talk about this. Yeah. So anxious is like the pursuer. They're the over texter. They fall in love quickly. The avoidant needs space, needs time, is going to send shorter responses, is like, okay, kind of back off.
I'm not that.
Okay. So, and then disorganized is this combination of both. It's this push and pull. It's kind of like, come here, love me. No, okay, that's too close. Back up a little bit.
Okay. What else?
Based on your face. And then they're secure, and that's healthy and boring. And those are the lucky people that none of us really know. So
they don't exist. They're with the dragons in the cave.
I was going to say those are the unicorns or fire breathing unicorns.
I think that when I'm with the right person, I'll be secure. Do you know what? When I think that when I'm with the right person, that's when I'll be like, yeah, Go do that. And also, my life lessons are leading me that way.
Have you had that before?
Secure?
Yeah.
No.
Then how do you know that it's just going to happen like that?
Because I've gotten close.
With the person not in a or the person not available?
No, with the person. Well, I've gotten close in a relationship where I could feel secure, but then she kind of 360'd or 180'd and
was not so secure.
Was not so secure.
Got it.
So, I think mostly what I can relate to from past experiences is probably anxious.
Okay, so you're more the pursuer.
When I yeah. I
could see what you're saying though, because I'm the same. Like if I don't have feelings for you that way, I'm like, it's like those memes that is, I need to rearrange my refrigerator. I'll call you later. That type of thing, So
like, you're would you call it, disorganized?
I'm disorganized. Yeah. Because
I'm right in between anxious and disorganized.
Okay.
I'm disorganized until I get anxious.
Well, disorganized includes anxious.
Oh,
so you're push and pull until you're in, and now you're anxious.
And now I'm in.
Okay.
Right. So it's like, I don't know, do I want to I mean, oh God, if you go ask my best girlfriend who we've kept each other alive through all our relationships and everything for 25 years. And if you ask her, that's exactly me to a T. Cause I'll be like, I don't know if I should date her. She's this, and this. And I'll come up with excuses and I'll be like, I don't want to date an actress again. Or, she doesn't have her own place. She lives with somebody, like whatever it is. And then, but I like her. But my heart will be saying one thing and my brain will be saying another. So that I'll do the push pull because I also don't want to lose them. But then I'm also keeping myself safe.
Sure.
And then when I'm in, I'm like, don't go. Please don't go. Please don't go.
Do you find a lot of reasons to not let somebody in?
I don't know. It depends. It depends on how much I like them. I think it's a hard question because if I like you, I'm in. Like if I get that feeling, I'm in. I'm just, let's see where it goes. Fuck all those red flags. Me with my green paint, just doing this the whole time, right?
Yes.
But I know when I know that happens, then I'm in. But if it's questionable, then I have a hard time letting somebody in. What about you?
Well, I kind of want to dig into your relational programming a little bit because I'm curious.
Using all these 2023 words on me that I don't understand.
Excuse me. This is my clinical term to describe how your upbringing influences your romantic relationships.
Oh, Jesus. So we're going to be here for 3 hours?
Yes. Okay. Wasn't that very clinical of me and not TikTok at all? I'm assuming you're attracted to avoidance.
Elaborate.
Okay, so when you get into a relationship, is this person maybe do you tend to get breadcrumbed? Maybe they don't give you as much time or attention or affection or reassurance that you want. You become the pursuer. Are they the ones to often withdraw?
No, at the end, yes. When it's like when I could tell when somebody's about to go.
What usually gets it there?
Me seeing that it's the typical thing of like, you feel somebody pulling away, so you run after them even more, and then then that makes them go away even further, and then you go ever more, and then before you know it, you're pushing them out of your life. Okay,
so yeah, you just described the anxious avoidant dance, and so that would be. Tell me about your parents a little here, Rob.
Well, they both were from a second marriage.
Okay.
Dad, 3-time Vietnam vet. Crazy.
Wow.
He was crazy. He volunteered 3 tours for Vietnam. And when I asked him why, he's from South Georgia. He looked me in the eye and he's like, son, I figure if I'm going to kill people, I might as well do it legally. And I was like, all right. Well, I'm going to go do my homework for the next 10 years. I'll see you at graduation. Be well. Don't murder people.
Yeah, don't kill anyone while you're out there.
Yeah. So he was a hard man to grow. He was a hard man to grow up with.
I'm sure.
Mom was my best friend. mom tattooed right there. She was
Mm.
my best friend in the world, protector, protect me. Those two though should not have been together. That's one of those old, 80s, 90s cases of they stayed together for the kids.
Sure.
And I remember telling my friends whose parents were getting divorced. They were like, "Oh, my parents are getting divorced. This sucks." And I was like, "Well, at least your dad's not talking shit about your mom in the living room, and your mom's not talking shit about your dad in the kitchen,
Right.
And then you're like stuck in between. Like, I'd
Yeah.
rather fucking go their separate ways and get this done."
Yeah, I remember feeling that way a lot. The same, like just the how much conflict they had. It was like I'd rather be, and that was always their thing, right? Like we're staying together for you guys, and fuck that, please don't. Like
Yeah.
you're not doing anyone any favors. So
Gotcha. Do you think that's why we're so content being by ourselves? Because we see that there's that attachment that people do, even though they're not happy, they stay in relationships and they go to relationships.
Well,
and
with you,
we're like, I'd rather be by myself than yelling with somebody in the fucking kitchen,
and that's for sure. But I guess I'd be curious, even with you identifying as your mom's best friend, or that you were your mom's best friend, do you feel that you did a lot of maybe emotional caretaking for her in some ways, like that she would lean on you or talk about your dad, things like that?
No.
Okay.
No,
So,
they were very like, I knew that I was loved in that family with my parents, with my dad near the end of his life too, a lot.
mhm.
But like, it wasn't like they came to me. I mean, they would talk shit to me about the other one, but it wasn't like, "Can I ask you a question?" Or why is your mom doing this? Or why is your dad doing this? Like that kind of stuff. It was never.
It was just like side remarks.
Yeah, it was more of like venting. They didn't care who was there, especially the kid. Do you have brothers or sisters?
I have two sisters. Yeah. So my older sister she's 2 years older. And then my younger sister is 8 years younger.
I think here's what I'm getting to. I think my sister is what is the word?
Exuding
a lot of the characteristics that my mom had with my dad.
Oh, like caretaking.
Caretaking, yes, but because my mom worked 3 jobs, my dad was the guy trying to start a new company every other week.
Okay.
And she makes a lot of money. She's a big boss at a company, and I think he does telemarketing or whatever.
Mhm.
But like, I think she just doesn't want to be alone. And I think that's what my thing with my mom was. I think she didn't want to be alone. She didn't want to start over, and because the 80s was a way different time.
Yeah. So maybe that's part of what you're seeing then, like you were saying earlier, part of that is not wanting to end up in a dysfunctional relationship, but also not settling just to be in a relationship.
Right.
But then at the same time, is there some fear of intimacy going on for you that you tend to find reasons? And that's no judgment. I'm full of my own fear of intimacy. Intimacy in the sense of really trusting commitment, trusting that people are safe and trustworthy. Do you struggle with that?
Yeah, I 100% struggle with that. I don't. It's weird because, we do this a lot on the It's Complicated podcast, because the girls do still live in LA. You never lived in LA, right?
No, I grew up in Southern California, but not in LA, and I didn't live there as an adult.
Right. It's a weird culture out there, because you really like. I make a joke that the list that you can have where you can go like fuck other people, like a hall pass.
Oh, the pass, yeah,
Yeah, the hall pass. Well, you can't have a hall pass in LA because you're probably going to run into those people, like on a daily basis.
Right.
And also, like, everybody's always looking for the bigger, better thing. Everybody's always looking for, how can you help me? I had a conversation with a girl right after I moved out here. We were talking at a party, and it was like an hour into our conversation. And she was like, "So what do you do?" And I was like, "Wait, what? You're asking me now what I do?" That's usually the first 30 seconds of a conversation in Los Angeles.
Right.
Because if you don't answer right, they're on, and there's a lot of this too. Yeah.
Just a lot of surface level.
So you just never know with the people there. You're always on guard. And it's a city of huge insecurities. You're getting told you're not good enough 90 times a year, if not 3 times that,
Is that not how our dating culture kind of feels in general, though? And I know you're saying you're not on any apps, so you probably don't have that direct experience, but that's a lot of what I experience on the apps or with people I talk to. It's always the grass is greener, right? So we're going to keep swiping or we'll semi-invest, but we're like, there's a whole slew of people who are going to like me again tomorrow, so I don't have to overly commit. It kind of seems like our society in general.
Well, that's why I'm not on the apps. A lot of it is because like I say, I want to meet somebody organically, but I'm also not going up to people in supermarkets and being like, "Hi, give me your number."
How are you meeting people?
At
Parties?
At parties, a bar, if with mutual friends, concerts,
right?
Just walking up, talking to people, old school stuff, right?
Sure.
But also, I'm not on the dating apps because maybe I'm not good looking enough. Maybe like. Seriously, but like that's the kind of thing that I mean, think about it. I started acting when I was 12, and then I spent my entire adult life in Los Angeles. So like I'm used to being told that I'm not good enough.
There's a lot of insecurities there.
100%. And it's like, okay, I mean, even the pictures I sent you like for this podcast, for the publicity of it, I was like, no. I mean, I went back and found stuff from like a long time ago that was like, I guess this will do. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
So like putting myself on these, like finding pictures to put on these apps to be like, choose me, pick me.
But do you find then when it's organic, it's your personality then is okay.
Also, so I think I might be one of those better in real life than on pictures type of people. But
so you risk less rejection or you fear less rejection when you're meeting people in person versus just based on your picture.
Yes.
That's got to be really fucking hard to live your life as an actor and live your life in LA with. So those insecurities already exist for so many of us.
Right.
And then for them just to be beat into you for years and years and years.
Yeah. I don't even watch myself on TV. The only people that I would tell when my shows are on is my mom, who has passed, so I don't tell anybody. I tell my sister because she's in Ireland and I know she can't stream it, but I don't really tell anybody when I'm on. And then when I am on, I watch it just to make sure I did the job that I wanted to do.
Sure.
And then I erase it because I will sit there and pick myself apart the entire time.
Has anyone told you that besides people who that's their job to kind of tell you you're not good enough, which what a fucked up job that is, but have you had that personal experience like socially where a woman has told you like you're not attractive enough?
Not in so many words, but like I've had people that I thought I was vibing with tell me that, describe men that they've dated before that are like supermodels, you know what I mean? Or like all CW actors,
Gotcha.
know what I mean? Which I've been on the CW, but I'm not playing the attractive guy. I'm playing the cop arresting the attractive guy.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, so I've had that in person. Like once they don't come out and say it.
Well, maybe you're just perceiving it.
No, it's pretty clear.
Okay. Did you are you in Texas acting then, or did you have a career? Oh, okay. You're acting. Okay. Okay. I want to talk about one other thing before we wrap up.
Oh,
what about hooking up with a friend's ex? So this has been a topic. Oh, that's an immediate shaking of your head. So this topic,
all my friends are on that show, right?
No. So you're saying that, okay. So elaborate on what's your point. That would make it really awkward.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying that I'm watching this show that I think you're talking about, right? You're talking about the Sandoval stuff. Are you talking about that?
No, I'm just talking about in general. Would you date a friend's ex, or would you be okay? That was
why it was a hot topic, because this is all going on. No, but I wouldn't do it. And I have like hard lines about that.
Okay,
That I
why?
won't, because there's 3 billion people in the world. And like, why do you have to go after
More than
somebody who
that.
had an emotional 7 billion people in the world? 3 billion of them are probably people I'd be into, but like they, I would like, my point is there's so many. Why do you have to go after somebody that your best friend or good friend had an emotional attachment to? It doesn't make sense to me. And I've had it happen to me a lot.
Okay. And it's hurtful to you.
Yeah, it's hurt. I mean, look, I've also been the best man in their weddings. I've also gotten over it and realized that they're getting married and let me be joyous. But yeah, it's definitely hurtful. I just don't think there's any reason to do it. What
Huh.
about you?
I guess I'm outnumbered with this. So I guess my stance is my own stance. But the conversation came up because my teenage son was talking about how his friend has a crush on one of his friend's ex or whatever. And he was like, it was like so controversial as he's telling me. And I'm like, okay, but like, what's really the big deal? So he's like describing it. And then I'm telling my situationship about this story. And he's like, yeah, no, that's fucked up. You can't do that. And I'm like, but why? And so then I'm like, I'm going
Wait,
to just
so you're
start.
saying that if with your say you and your situationship, right,
Yep.
actually had a relationship
Mm-hmm.
and then you broke up around Christmas and then Melissa all of a sudden starts dating your situationship, you're going to be like, fine, that's for the world, for the nature, for the love of everybody. Like everybody deserves to experience this person.
Well, first of all, Melissa's chiming in on the chat saying it would not be her. However,
Right,
they
right,
both have quite the love for Chick-fil-A. So like they would already know where they're going to be dating. Like it would be a
right.
whole thing. So
They already have their first dinner planned.
um okay, I get your point, but Melissa's also like one of my best friends. So that's a little different. Like there could be a
Well, you said best friend.
I didn't say best friend. I just said friend. You're the one who jumped to best friend. We can give a little no,
Oh,
we
so
can
there's
rewind the tape.
rules. So there's rules here. You're starting to make rules about it as it goes along.
Well, it could be like an acquaintance.
If it's an acquaintance, that's different. Look, here's the thing. If I there's there's definitely like times where I've I've hooked up with people that were exes of acquaintances
Okay.
because we had that acquaintance in common. That's what made us like be like run into
Okay.
each other and be like, hey, but acquaintance is not your friend.
Okay, but a friend is also not your best friend.
Once you're my friend, I consider you like somebody close enough that I would never do that to.
Okay,
So
fair
like
enough.
I don't know how many people have best friends, but like if you're just making it about 2 or 3 people that you can't go to, that's fine. I consider once I have like any kind of like emotional relationship with you as far as like friend wise goes, no, I can't do that. Why would I do that?
I don't know, but I need to search into this a little bit further from a social psychology standpoint because I bet if I put a survey on my story, I bet 90% of the people would agree with you.
I bet you're wrong because of this show that I'm talking about, which is huge right now. It's a reality TV show. It's called Vanderpump Rules.
Sure.
And right now, the whole category that's going on with it is that what these two friends got together and there was cheating involved. They kind of like did this whole secret life and cheated on this one person, but they were supposedly friends that hooked up. And the storyline before that was that a couple was married and they got divorced. And then the wife didn't want the husband hooking up with anybody in the friend group. That's the one rule. Don't hook
Okay.
up with anybody in the friend group. And the husband went and hooked up with somebody in the friend group, made out, and the whole world turned against him. And they're all on the girl's side.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, that they probably would all agree with you if I did a survey.
Oh, I thought you said agree with you.
Oh, no. I don't think they would agree with me. I think that they would agree with you. And
Yeah,
with
you're proving it right now. It's no, would they? I mean, it's like the biggest show on TV right now. They had watch parties last night.
okay, but the question is this based in societal expectations, just like we should be in a committed relationship and we should stay married and we shouldn't have multiple sexual partners and all these shoulds and shouldn'ts, is it actually based in legitimacy, or did somebody decide this for us? And now we all have just taken it as truth.
Okay. Wow. Does gravity really exist? What is, it's like,
whatever, Rob.
How much?
Get out of here.
No, but like, it's the same thing of like, yeah, as a society, we say murder is bad, right?
Because
you're hurting.
There's an inherent.
But you're
Okay,
hurting people, right? You're hurting other people. There's people that are getting pain, and it might not be the person getting murdered, but it's the family, it's everybody else, right? It's the consequences of it. So when you are doing all these things that society says is bad, it's because we as a society said, this hurts. This doesn't feel good. This isn't a majority, at least.
Okay.
98% of us said that. And that's how, do you read that book, Sapien?
No, but do you really believe that about like marriage in general, that we get married because it's what we have, like it's what's best for people, or it's what?
I think marriage is a weird long tradition of selling somebody's daughter to somebody else for a harvest. Like, I don't believe look, marriage is just a party to be like, hey, look, I did this,
Right.
But it's also standing in front of people and saying, I choose this person for the rest of my life. And I think that if you have that kind of, like I said, 98% or maybe 90% of the people that do this is because they're saying, I love you enough that I want to be with you forever. So if somebody cheats on you and disrespects that love, then that's bad.
Okay, but again, there's gray area. I'm not talking about if cheating is right or wrong. Like, okay, I can agree with you on that, but I'm saying like even divorce. So like I did, made a decision at 18 prior to my prefrontal cortex being fully developed. And then I decide later in life, hey, that maybe wasn't the best choice for me. I can make that choice, and it's not about hurt, even if it probably did cause hurt. I still have the right to make that choice, even if society's telling me that I don't.
Well, I think that's an old society. I don't think divorce is I think that's what you were definitely brought up in your Christian religious household where that's definitely probably bad, So like, I think in today's world, that's the whole point of this whole Vanderpump thing, was that if they didn't cheat, if they just said, hey, I'm breaking up with you, and then let that person deal with the breakup and then went and did whatever they wanted to, that's a whole nother conversation to have. But like when you're purposely hurting somebody,
that I can agree with.
Was that the question?
I don't know what the fuck we're talking about anymore. Anyway,
I don't have one night stands anymore. I want to find somebody to be with, but I'm taking my time, and I am choosing wisely, I hope.
Okay. Well, thank you for clarifying all of that. I'm glad I have this different perspective of you in this conversation than I did in the last.
When you put this up there on your podcast, can you just put under my picture, can you put not fuckboy?
Absolutely.
Right there. Not former fuckboy, never fuckboy.
Okay. I'll make sure to do that.
Breadcrumber.
And you said ex breadcrumber or not breadcrumber?
Well, now that I know what it is, I'm not going to do it anymore.
Oh, okay. Look at you. You are so evolved. Where can people find you? What are your socials and everything like that?
I only have one social media because that's the safest thing for me. It's at Forevers Evors, FOREVERS on Instagram. My last name is EVORS, so you can just look up Rob Evors and it'll pop up. And then we have this podcast, me, Lauren Leonelli, and Jen Golden. It's called It's Complicated. The two girls started it a long time ago, and for some reason decided they needed a male perspective on it. So they brought me in, and it's great. We have so many amazing, you being one of them. I mean, the fact that we've had you on it just shows that we're credible.
Well, I appreciate that. It's a lot of fun. You guys have a fun dynamic.
It's good because, like I said, Jen is, now she's in a relationship and she's just moving in and she's in those new stages. I'm single as can be and still trying to figure it out. And Lauren's married with 2 kids under the age of 3. So like we get to really get all of it with
Yeah.
our podcast. So
it's a lot of fun. You guys do a lot of really good topics. I like how you dig in, you bring on experts. I would love to come talk about attachment styles. So you'll have to talk to them about that. Thank you so much, Rob, for being here. This was such a fun conversation. And as always, you are fun to hang out with. So I appreciate you.
You too. Good luck in your situationship.
Yeah. Good luck with you in Texas.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rob, for this podcast hookup. And thank you all for hanging out on Relatable Relationships Unfiltered. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, sign up for my newsletter, and find me on Instagram at Dr. Elizabeth Fedrick.